how to spend a week in Zanzibar. And also I met a really interesting person that is doing breathwork, and let's see what he wants to tell you about that. So make sure to watch the whole video and you'll see what you can do in a week in Zanzibar. One of the things I was really surprised of is the sea level. High and low tide is a really big difference on Zanzibar. For example, in Paje, where I slept, you can't see the sea in the evening since it's so far away, but you still can hear it. It's a bit like hearing the thunder far away. But when you are at the high tide, it's so close to the beach houses that, sometimes it's hard to find your spot for your towel. Now you can see one of the beach houses that is built on poles. When it's high tide, the platform is really close to the sea, and right now you can't imagine.
Fishermen which catch the accidentally by mistakes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And the time they catch them, sometimes they getting injury from the net. If you look, there are a lot of them. If you look them in their net, it's more white.
Okay.
Yes, that's the injury they get from the net. And some of them, they are sometimes lose their flippers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here is like place where they can recover themselves. Yeah. The time they are fit enough. In every 20th of February, we choose those fit enough and then we let them free to the sea. We release them back to the sea.
So right now you're about to see a little workout I did with my resistance bands, which I usually bring with me while traveling. Usually I don't bring my parallettes, but now I had to since my wrist was still healing from a surgery. After the workout you'll see Dan, the breathwork coach. We were about to see some dolphins together, but probably they were hiding since we didn't see any. Just got down here on the Pungume Island, and here is Dan, and I'm not going to introduce him, but he's going to introduce himself. So Dan, tell me a bit more about yourself, please.
Myself, well, I am Canadian. I am here. I've actually was hired to help performance coach a group of 10 people going up Kilimanjaro. So we were doing breathing exercise the last 6 months. And we're all over the world, from Mexico, the UK, Switzerland, where else? We had people from Mozambique, France. Anyways, so it was a great group, and we went up. We summited Kilimanjaro in the fourth night. Did it with no medication and just did it with mindset training we've been doing, and our bodies were healthy, but it was a lot about breathing really deeply. But anyways, met up with Henry, and now we have taken a little bit of an adventure tour, and we're out on this beautiful island, went snorkeling, and now we're about to have a nice lunch.
So you told me that the breathing helps against the altitude sickness. So can you explain a little bit what it does? Like, why does this help?
Yeah, so often people think that when you get to altitude, it's about less oxygen, but there's actually the same amount of oxygen at altitude. It's the pressure. So at Mercury here at sea level, we're about 120, and you get up higher, you can get up to where Everest, it's at like 60 or less in the Mercury. So what happens is the body doesn't assimilate the oxygen. So with the breath, what you want to do is you want to create more volume. The ideal thing is to spend more and more time at altitude so that the body actually starts to adapt and create more hemoglobin, red blood cells. You create more of them. So what happens is you become more efficient with the oxygen. So, you know, it was difficult, but the breath really takes us to a different level, especially focusing concentration. And I'm a Wim Hof instructor. And so we use brown fat activation breathing, where it's a secret technique that we use going up the mountain that Wim shows us, and he showed everybody, but helps us to get rid of the altitude sickness. And we had a group of 10 that went up without any medication. We saw people with medication being brought down, being sick, vomiting. But our crew was amazing. All you watched our group when we were climbing and walked. We were all on task with our breathing, and it worked wonders. We're really happy.
That's amazing. That's really nice. And so maybe people think like, hey, how could I start with breath exercises myself? So what would you give the people at home like as first exercises to start with breathing exercises in general?
Okay, yeah. So I've been a breath coach for about 20 years now, the better part of 20 years. And the first thing I always help people out with is actually just retraining how to breathe, because we switch from a very young age. We're programmed, and it happens with fear and stuff. But what happens is we take the breath that's here, creating this biological pump, peristalsis, keeping this whole area nice and healthy, and we switch up to here. So we're breathing quickly up here, and it actually tells the state of breath, the body and the mind, that we're in kind of a stress mode. So I always teach people how to breathe really deep and learn diaphragmatic breathing into the ribs and the back. Once you have the idea of how to take that deep full breath instead of using only 10%, that's the first step, and that is a huge game changer. Gets rid of all kinds of things from anxiety to constipation, IBS, because you start using this area again to breathe where you should be, and it's like a biological pump or oscillator. So, but just learning how to breathe deeply and breathe slower. Use the deep breath to breathe slowly, and the state of the breath will actually create a state of mind. So if you're feeling anxious, your body feels anxious, if you start to breathe deeper and slower, that's the first exercise, because that's like the breath's like a steering wheel for your nervous system, and you can actually breathe into the energy that you kind of want to feel.
Okay, that's awesome. So if I understand it correctly, we breathe in really like deep, slowly out. Is there like any seconds important to breathe in and exhaling, or?
Is there any what? Sorry?
Like how many seconds you need to exhale?
Well, I usually like to say like 4 in, 4 out is a really nice breath that 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. But then there's a thing called coherence breathing, and this is probably the one everybody should learn. Coherence breathing is 5 to 6 seconds in and out, and it's shown that it brings coherence to the heart and the brain. And what happens is all the systems start to kind of align in the body. And what it just does is it tells your nervous system that you're in a completely relaxed state. And when it starts to connect the mind to the heart, or the brain, the heart-brain coherence, this is where we're always in our mind, and our heart's kind of separated from it, because our mind, we separate from our body. So the one thing that breath techniques really do is that when you are, for coherence breathing, breathing in 5 to 6 seconds in and 5 to 6 seconds out, the great thing is it has you focusing on your breath. And when you focus on your breath, your mind's pointed to that instead of all the that's going on in your head, right? The stuff that's pulling you away. So it brings you into the moment, breath work. So it's almost like a form of active meditation. So it works really well like that. But coherence breathing, if you want to do one, 6 in, 6 out, that's the number one I do.
Tell me your name again.
Yeah, my name is Mr. Fridge.
Mr. Fridge.
Yes, the coolest man on the beach. You see. Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
Surprised me about Tanzania is the asphalt. If you see my safari video, you see me doing a handstand, and there the asphalt it looks so new. And on Zanzibar, in my opinion, it's also quite good. Yes, sometimes you have a hole out of nowhere and then you're driving through it with your scooter, but yeah, it's okay. What also surprised me is when there is a football game on TV. You see all the people are standing here to watch TV on a small screen and everybody's standing together. So this means that there are two teams playing and the people that are watching are not all for the same team. And in the end, when one of the teams wins, the other one buys a beer for the other one. And even when they are playing against each other, they will be friendly in every situation. So it's really fun to see. It's quite different in the Netherlands sometimes. And now we are switching towards Stone Town, the capital city of Zanzibar. Stone Town is one of the well-known spots where the slavery was a big subject. So one of the guides will tell you more about it.
Here for 2 or 3 days without food and water, just to see how strong they are. And during that time, it was no window, no light, no toilet. Completely was dark. The number of people died for suffocation, starvation, and different kind of disease. In here, they were used to kept 50 men here.
50?
50.
50.
And there, 75 women plus children. This pathway, it was used in the toilet because the history of Stone Town, it was the sea before reclamation in 1930 to 1950 by the British.
Yes, I'm showing this for the second time, but I wanted to share that this chain is the actual chain that is used back in the days. So, and behind you see the church. Right now it is a church, but back in the days this was the actual spot where the people were traded. So as you can see in Stone Town, there's a lot of different architecture. That's in the period when the slavery was there because there were Arabs, Persian, Indian and European people. The name Stone Town refers to the many buildings constructed from limestone carried from the surrounding coral reefs. So as a result, the buildings are white and red.
So this week I didn't do much workouts, but yesterday I decided to do a workout in the evening. The lighting was not perfect for recording a lot, so I'm sorry. So now I'm going to record the inside of the gym again, so you have a good view on the inside, but also on the outside, because you can see the beach while you're doing your workout, which is amazing. And they also have some ropes and a pulley bar outside, which you can see now. And yeah, I would say if you are looking for a place to do your workout, go to this place. I just came back from my first kitesurf lesson, and I had 1.5 hours and then the wind lay down. So I had to go back to the hostel, just grab some food, and later on I will get back to business.
Camina, camina, camina por donde va. Anda sin soledad. Es la verdad, todo va a estar bien, mamá. Anda sin soledad. Camina, camina, camina por donde.
So the first kite lessons are done. I started with only a really small kite, and after 1 hour we went to a bigger kite, and 1 hour later we went into the water without a board. Did some body dragging, and after that we stopped because the wind was going down. So yeah, now the wind's better than yesterday, so I hope I can do it and try to get on the board today, which would be really amazing, since that's where I'm coming for right now, to do the kitesurf lessons. Because at the beginning you really want to start with the kite and the board immediately on the water, but it is hard. So yeah, I will find out if I can do it today, and after that I will prepare for going back home. And then I have my week of Zanzibar. I must say it was amazing. I did expect that the island would be much smaller. But like, I've driven to nearly every point of the island, like the south, east, west, north. But it took some time and it hurt my butt during the scooter rides, but it was totally worth it. So I would definitely recommend you to go to Zanzibar. It's such a paradise.
So in the plane I checked my footage of the kite surfing, and then I found out that I made the beginner mistake. I recorded the stuff when I was not doing anything interesting, and when I needed to record I turned it off. So yeah, we end up with this footage, and it is what it is. For sure, it's all about the experience. So soon I hope I can do some more kitesurf lessons and record this, so you'll see how this is going. So please comment in the video what you like the most about Zanzibar, and if you consider to go there as well. Make sure to subscribe to my channel to see more of this content.